If you think fingerprints are the only mistakes thieves make, think again. Imagine a robber meticulously planning their heist for years, only to fail spectacularly. And the reason? A sandwich. Sometimes it's the smallest details that bring down the biggest plans. Be brought to justice due to a slice of salami. It's proof that the perfect crime is a literary invention. The Antwerp Diamond Heist, often hailed as the heist of the century, stands as one of the most audacious and meticulously executed robberies in modern criminal history. In February 2003, a group of highly skilled thieves, led by the notorious Italian criminal Leonardo Notarbartolo, infiltrated the highly secure vault of the Antwerp Diamond Center in Belgium. They made off with an astonishing haul, diamonds, gold, and jewels worth over $100 million. This seemingly flawless operation became a legend not only for its scale but for the sheer ingenuity behind it. What sets the heist apart is the calculated precision with which it was carried out. The team's ability to bypass state-of-the-art security measures, from infrared sensors to motion detectors, was nothing short of extraordinary. With such a sophisticated plan, they executed the robbery almost without a trace, leaving authorities dumbfounded and the public in disbelief. The story of how they planned and executed the robbery is as remarkable as the heist itself. Born in Palermo in 1952, Notarbartolo grew up in a modest family, the son of a sharecropper and a housewife. His childhood was shaped by the rural traditions of Sicily and the enduring legend of Salvatore Giuliano, the famous Sicilian bandit who became a controversial figure in post-war Italy. From an early age, Notarbartolo displayed a rare and extraordinary talent: eidetic memory. This natural ability allowed him to recall images with stunning precision and clarity, even after observing them for only a brief moment. Reflecting on this unique gift, Notarbartolo shares, "This characteristic of mine led me to develop a personal decalogue, a set of guiding principles that have shaped every important decision in my life. I realized early on that there is no truly objective point of view, no absolute line dividing right from wrong, but I also committed to never lying to myself." Leonardo's family relocated to Turin when he was still a young boy. Adjusting to this new reality proved challenging. He faced rejection from his schoolmates, who marginalized him, and struggles within a social environment that was far from welcoming to immigrants. These hardships culminated in a turning point when, still in elementary school, he committed his first petty theft, stealing 5,000 lire from a shop near his house. In fact, this tendency was evident from an early age. At just 5.5 years old, Leonardo committed his first theft. His father had worked tirelessly for an entire week to earn 250 lire. But when he discovered what his son had done, he gave him a hard slap, a moment that Notarbartolo would never forget. However, as life would later show, this punishment wasn't enough to change him. Those early school years left an indelible mark on his character, shaping the path he would take in life. It's painful to imagine how different things might have been if he had made another choice, if he had clung to his great passion for water polo. Perhaps he could have pursued a brighter future through sports, avoiding the path that led him astray. Through years of introspection, he cultivated virtues such as patience and discipline, understanding that these qualities were as crucial as raw talent. He recognized the need to balance ambition with a deep hunger for knowledge, viewing both as essential tools for personal and professional growth. Above all, he imposed upon himself a strict rule: always to honor his promises and maintain his integrity, no matter the circumstances. This philosophy became the cornerstone of his life, guiding him through challenges and achievements alike. All of these skills are honed by Notarbartolo over the years, especially during his youthful days until the fateful moment arrives. It's 1969, and we're in Turin. An old friend of his father, Renzo, approaches him with an offer that will change the course of his life: a daring jewelry heist. "I was only 17, Notarbartolo recalls, and I agreed, but with one condition: no one gets hurt." They executed the plan flawlessly, entering the store and leaving with the stolen goods in a matter of minutes. It was a clean operation. For a year, he put the heist out of his mind, returning to his passion for water polo, even earning a spot on the national team. But just when he thought he was on track for success, the past caught up with him. Renzo, his accomplice, had betrayed him, confessing and offering up his name in exchange for a reduced sentence. The consequences were swift. Notarbartolo found himself sentenced to 5 years in prison, yet life after the bars was a slow burn. Nearly 30 years after his arrest, in 2003, he was no longer the reckless young man of his past. By now, he had a family, and split his time between Turin and Antwerp, Belgium. In Antwerp, he found a new life running a jewelry trading business. The city, known as the diamond capital of the world, is where 80% of the world's diamonds pass through, making it a bustling hub of commerce, with a staggering $3 billion in annual transactions. Living in Antwerp, Notarbartolo rented an apartment and an office inside the Diamond Center, a high-security building whose vaults were considered among the most impenetrable on Earth. Beneath the building, nearly 200 safety deposit boxes were securely locked away, each one holding treasures worth millions. Little did he know he was about to become involved in the most audacious heist in history. One fateful September day in a quiet bar, he was approached by a man named Jeremiah. This unassuming figure would soon reveal himself as the mastermind behind the heist, outlining an elaborate plan and asking Notarbartolo to join his team. The temptation was undeniable. The stakes were higher than ever, and Notarbartolo had no idea just how deep the rabbit hole was about to go. Notarbartolo was initially hesitant, but the lure of a massive $200 million haul of cash and jewels eventually convinced him to join the ambitious plan. He quickly became acquainted with the rest of the team, each member hand-picked for their specialized skills. Remarkably, before this high-stakes heist, many of them didn't even know each other. Their shared goal was a powerful motivator, binding them together for the mission, despite their lack of prior relationships. The crew was a mix of seasoned criminals, each with a unique expertise. Interestingly, some of the accomplices were rumored to have ties to the Magliana gang, a notorious Roman criminal group with a reputation for illicit activities. The connection to the Magliana gang further strengthened the operation, providing additional experience and resources that would prove essential for pulling off such an audacious robbery. Despite their diverse backgrounds, the team operated with remarkable coordination, fueled by the promise of unimaginable wealth. There was the monster, Rocco Morabito, with hands strong enough to disable any alarm system in the blink of an eye, an individual described as physically imposing, standing nearly 2 meters tall. Morabito's role in the operation was crucial, as he was tasked with disabling security systems, particularly the physical aspects like alarms, barriers, and any other obstacles that could hinder the heist. His strength and presence made him a key figure in the team, capable of handling the physical challenges involved in the crime. Rocco Morabito was born in Italy, and like many others involved in the heist, had a background in criminal activity. He was known for his ability to use force when necessary, which made him an ideal candidate for tasks that required brute strength. In addition to handling the security systems, Morabito's physical skills allowed him to assist in the robbery's execution by ensuring that the vault's doors and locks could be managed without triggering alarms. His imposing figure made him useful in situations that required intimidation or physical intervention. The moniker, "The Monster," was a reflection of both his size and his capacity to overpower security systems, and potentially people if necessary. He wasn't responsible only for disabling the alarms, but making sure the team could proceed through areas of the Diamond Center without detection. Morabito's criminal background and his role in the robbery highlight the blend of physical prowess and technical skill that made the Diamond Center heist one of the most remarkable and well-planned crimes in history. Then there was the genius, Filippo Baggio, a master hacker who could effortlessly breach the most secure computer networks and surveillance systems. He was born in Italy and had a background in engineering, which contributed to his ability to manipulate sophisticated technology during the heist. Baggio's involvement in the robbery was linked to his skill set in handling and exploiting electronic systems, a crucial element for a crime of such magnitude. While his role in the heist may have been less publicly known, Compared to Notarbartolo, his technical prowess was instrumental in the successful execution of the theft. Baggio's contribution to the crime was to ensure that the security systems in the Diamond Center were either disabled or bypassed entirely, enabling the group to enter the vault undetected. He was responsible for disabling alarms, manipulating surveillance footage, and ensuring that the team could move through the building without triggering any security protocols. His nickname, the Genius, reflected his technical skills, but the heist ultimately exposed how these seemingly brilliant minds were undone by their own carelessness and the efforts of law enforcement. The Chiavaro, Sergio Carbone, was the lock-picking expert, known for his uncanny ability to craft any key and break into any vault. Carbone's role in the operation was critical, as he specialized in one of the most technical and precise aspects of the crime, opening locks and bypassing security mechanisms without triggering any alarms. His nickname, the Chiavaro, meaning the locksmith was a reflection of his skill set, which was key to gaining access to the vault and safety deposit boxes, some of which contained diamonds, gold, and cash worth millions of dollars. Sergio Carbone was born in Italy, and he had a history of involvement in the criminal world, particularly in activities related to theft and burglary. His deep knowledge of locks, keys, and security systems made him the ideal candidate for this particular job. Carbone's training and expertise allowed him to manipulate both traditional and modern locking mechanisms, which played a vital role in allowing the team to access the vault undetected. Carbone's contribution to the heist was not just limited to picking locks, but also to forging master keys. This skill was essential in bypassing the complex security measures at the Diamond Center. Using a combination of high-quality tools and his precise technique, he was able to craft duplicate keys and lock mechanisms that allowed the team to gain access to areas that were otherwise impenetrable. The vault's combination locks and high-security doors posed a considerable challenge, but Carbone's expertise ensured that they could be opened without setting off alarms or alerting security. Beyond simply opening the vault door, Carbone was also instrumental in accessing the 123 safety deposit boxes that were targeted during the heist. These boxes contained valuable items, including diamonds, gold, and cash. Carbone's ability to break into these boxes with minimal noise and disruption was key to the smooth execution of the heist. The precision with which he worked was remarkable. It required not only skill but also absolute focus and an understanding of the subtle details of security systems. His involvement in the Diamond Center heist highlighted the complexity of modern-day burglaries, where criminals combine highly specialized skills, including hacking, lock manipulation, and surveillance bypassing, to carry out audacious crimes. The only person whom Notarbartolo knew was Speedy, Pietro Tavano, whose personality remains less clear in the public domain. Speedy was the fastest member of the crew, which earned him his nickname. His primary role was related to logistics and rapid movement, ensuring that they could complete the heist efficiently and without being noticed. He was responsible for tasks that required quick thinking and swift execution, including ferrying the stolen goods and assisting with communication among the team members. His role was essential in ensuring that the operation ran smoothly and that the team could make a quick exit without drawing attention. However, details about his full identity and background remain less clear in public sources compared to other members of the gang. Speedy and Leonardo Notarbartolo shared a deep and enduring bond, having been childhood friends for over 30 years and longtime collaborators. Their long-standing friendship was marked by mutual loyalty, though it wasn't without its complexities. Despite Speedy's occasional personal crises, which often made him a difficult partner, Notarbartolo remained steadfast in his defense of him. The rest of the crew, however, had reservations about Speedy, perceiving him as a liability rather than an asset. They voiced concerns that his unpredictability could jeopardize the heist. Yet Notarbartolo, understanding his friend's struggles, stood by him, recognizing that Speedy's past experiences and his unwavering loyalty outweighed any doubts the others had. It was this bond, forged over years of friendship, that ultimately kept Speedy in the team, despite the team's hesitation. Tavano was known for his involvement in the final moments of the crime. Actually, his act of carelessness ended up being a key mistake, as it led authorities to track down and identify the members of the gang, including Tavano himself. Notarbartolo, known as the Tarnese for his origins, was specifically recruited for his strategic positioning within the Diamond Center. His office was located inside the building, providing him with a unique advantage, an unobstructed view of the vault's layout and security systems. This made him the ideal candidate to memorize every detail of the vault's inner workings, which he meticulously studied over time. He also gained the trust of the crew by requesting a safety deposit box of his own, which would later play a key role in the plan. While Notarbartolo focused on gathering critical intelligence, the monster, a towering and imposing figure in the group, was tasked with creating the tools necessary for their operation. The monster, known for his ability to handle the physical aspects of breaking into secure locations, turned his attention to developing a tiny, highly sophisticated surveillance camera. This miniature device was designed to spy on the contents of Notarbartolo's deposit box without arousing suspicion. The combination of Notarbartolo's strategic foresight and the monster's technical prowess was crucial to the success of the heist, as it allowed them to gather valuable information about the security systems without being detected. The robbery was daring and risky, a high-stakes gamble that pushed the limits of their skills and nerve. Despite these precautions, Leonardo Notarbartolo and his team, a group of professional criminals referred to as the School of Turin, saw an opportunity. The heist was meticulously planned over 2 years, almost 3, and Notarbartolo established himself as a trusted figure in the diamond district by renting an office in the building. Posing as an Italian diamond dealer, he gained access to the premises, studied the security systems, and built relationships with staff and other tenants. Antwerp's Diamond District is renowned for being one of the most secure places in the world, and the Diamond Center was no exception. A fortress of wealth, it housed 160 vaults, storing billions of dollars in precious stones and metals, protected by cutting-edge security systems designed to make any unauthorized entry nearly impossible. The vault itself featured multiple layers of protection, starting with a combination lock and 2 key locks on its heavy door, which required precise coordination to open. Beyond the physical barriers, the building was equipped with advanced magnetic field sensors that could detect any tampering attempts, ensuring that even the slightest disruption would trigger an alert. To prevent unauthorized entry, an infrared heat sensor was installed, capable of detecting even the faintest changes in temperature. While inside the vault, motion detectors and a light sensor ensured that any movement or light would be instantly detected. The facility also boasted a 24/7 surveillance system, with cameras strategically placed throughout the building, capturing every moment. In addition to the digital surveillance, a team of security guards kept a constant watch over the premises, making it a virtually impenetrable location. Despite these formidable measures, however, a carefully orchestrated plan by the gang, using innovation and meticulous preparation, managed to circumvent these high-tech defenses, leading to one of the most audacious robberies in history. In order to facilitate the robbery, the team constructed a scaled replica of the vault that was one of the most meticulous and significant parts of their preparation for the heist. This replica allowed them to rehearse every aspect of the operation in great detail, ensuring that nothing was left to chance, and practicing every aspect of the operation. The process involved carefully replicating the layout, security features, and obstacles of the actual vault, down to the smallest details, to ensure they were fully prepared for the real heist. This attention to detail would later prove crucial. The team spent months practicing inside the replica, working out the timing, movements, and technical procedures that would be required to carry out the robbery, without triggering alarms or being detected. This level of preparation and foresight was key to the gang's ability to carry out the heist with such precision. Each member of the gang had a specific role to play in the practice sessions. The genius worked on disabling and bypassing the electronic security systems, while the Chiavaro practiced manipulating locks and forging keys. The monster, with his imposing strength, practiced disabling physical security barriers, while Leonardo Notarbartolo oversaw the operation, ensuring everything was executed flawlessly. The replica vault also allowed them to troubleshoot and identify potential problems before the actual heist. For example, they were able to test their tools and techniques in a controlled environment, minimizing the risks they would face in the real scenario. In fact, the practice in the replica vault would help them adjust to the layout and spatial constraints of the real vault, ensuring they moved quickly and efficiently during the actual robbery. This attention to detail paid off during the heist itself. When they finally entered the real vault, they were able to navigate the space with ease, bypassing security measures and accessing the deposit boxes with remarkable speed and precision. The ability to work seamlessly together and execute the plan as practiced in the replica vault was a testament to the team's commitment and preparation, making the Diamond Center heist one of the most sophisticated robberies in history. After days of careful preparation, the thief finally managed to sneak into the building with the micro camera, gathering invaluable intel on the sophisticated alarm system. The vault was equipped with sensors sensitive to heat, light, sound, and movement, almost impossible to bypass. But the one element that truly posed a challenge was the radar Doppler system, a near impenetrable security feature. For days, the team hit a wall, unable to come up with a solution. Then, one evening, as Notarbartolo sat lost in thought, his mind suddenly sparked with a memory. He remembered an old TV commercial for a hairspray, one that showed the product being used to create a smooth surface. At that moment, everything clicked. He rushed to the others and excitedly explained the plan. A light coating of hairspray on the radar sensor would be enough to disrupt its function, rendering it useless. With a burst of confidence, they knew they had their way in. The plan was set into motion over the quiet Valentine's Day weekend, deliberately timed to coincide with a period of reduced activity at the Diamond Center. With fewer people around and fewer distractions, the robbers knew they had the perfect opportunity to strike. From 11:30 p.m. until the early morning hours of 5 a.m., the heist had to be executed with flawless timing, ensuring that everything was completed well before the morning rush, something that was even more critical on a Sunday when the building was usually less busy. On the night of February 15th, the team sprang their plan into action with a level of precision and coordination that was nothing short of astonishing. They began by neutralizing the building's security cameras with remarkable subtlety. Each lens was carefully coated with hairspray, a seemingly innocent move that effectively obscured the footage without setting off any alarm bells. This small but clever tactic, learned during their practical exercises, rendered the cameras useless, giving the team free rein over their movements without the risk of being caught on tape. The ingenuity didn't stop there. The next obstacle was the magnetic sensor, which could trigger an alarm at the slightest detection of movement. In a move that showcased their advanced knowledge of security systems, the team used a simple yet effective aluminum shield to cover the sensor, neutralizing its ability to sense any disturbances. This tactical move allowed them to open the vault door freely, without setting off any alarms that would draw attention. The heist team's ability to bypass the infrared heat sensor is one of the most remarkable aspects of their operation. Infrared sensors are designed to detect even the slightest change in temperature, making them an effective barrier against unauthorized access. However, the team managed to neutralize this key security feature with a clever and unexpected tactic. They used a thin sheet of plastic. This simple yet ingenious material effectively blocked any heat fluctuations from being detected by the sensor, creating a protective shield that rendered the alarm system ineffective. By covering the infrared sensor, they ensured that their movements inside the vault remained undetected, despite the tight security measures. This trick was a testament to their preparation and understanding of the technology they were dealing with. The plastic sheet did not need to be large. It was thin enough to be inconspicuous but durable enough to maintain its effect during the heist. With the heat sensor disabled, the team had unfettered access to the vault's inner sanctum, a key step toward accessing the precious items stored inside. In complete darkness, the team moved like shadows. The robbers had practiced extensively in a scaled replica of the vault and knew exactly how to navigate the space without activating any sensors. Every step had been carefully rehearsed over weeks and months of meticulous planning, and now it paid off. Their movements were silent, precise, and synchronized. Nothing was left to chance. By overcoming both the infrared sensor and other complex security features like magnetic and motion detectors, the team demonstrated an extraordinary level of skill, knowledge, and resourcefulness in executing the heist. Once inside the vault, the team moved quickly but methodically. The lock, with 100 million possible combinations, gave them some problems. They set to work on 123 of the 160 safety deposit boxes, many of which contained vast fortunes in diamonds, gold, and cash. Using specialized tools, they cut through the locks with surgical precision, ensuring that every operation was as quiet as possible. Their technique was so refined that not even a whisper of sound escaped as they pried open the boxes and gathered the valuables within. The operation was executed without a hitch, and it was clear that the team's planning and coordination had been flawless. Every move was calculated, every obstacle overcome with ingenuity and precision. The heist stood as a testament to their meticulous preparation, expert knowledge, and extraordinary skill in executing what would become one of the most audacious and successful robberies in history, one with the most unpredictable outcome. At 5:12, the deed is done. The Turin gang has ransacked the most guarded vault on the planet, taking home diamonds worth close to 150 million euros. By the time they finished, the police were left with a puzzle they couldn't solve. The crew exited by car through the underground garages, leaving behind one last cheeky touch, swapping out the video surveillance tapes with a couple of pornographic films. The Peugeot 307, a rented car, played a crucial role in the execution of this high-stakes heist. It served as the vehicle for the daring getaway, allowing the thieves to navigate the scene swiftly and evade detection. This seemingly ordinary car became an essential part of the operation, symbolizing the audacity and meticulous planning behind the crime. The aftermath of what was dubbed the theft of the century proved far less glamorous than the heist itself. The team scattered, with some heading toward Holland and others toward Italy. Everything went smoothly, or so it seemed. Less than an hour later, everyone was already in Notarbartolo's apartment cheering, but it was too soon to claim victory. Despite the flawless execution of the heist itself, a simple error led to the gang's undoing. One member of their gang discarded a trash bag filled with evidence, including receipts, tools, and sandwich wrappers, in a nearby forest. He disposed of the food remains from the vault in a roadside waste container at a highway lay-by. However, this lapse in caution proved to be a costly mistake. The small detail that made the gang's dreams of glory vanished. Some invoices made out to Notarbartolo's company and a sandwich fell out. The police retrieved the discarded waste, and the bag and its contents quickly led authorities straight to Notarbartolo. Within days, authorities were able to track down Notarbartolo and his accomplices. The quick identification came as a shock to the criminals, who believed their tracks were well covered. The police were able to link the discarded waste to Notarbartolo, and this breakthrough ultimately led to his arrest, along with the other members of the gang. In a surprising twist, one member of the crew, Speedy, Pietro Tavano, broke under pressure and panicked, confessing to the police about the Antwerp Diamond Heist. His confession was a key turning point in the investigation, as he provided critical details about the operation and implicated the rest of the team. Speedy admitted to his involvement and helped authorities piece together the heist's intricate planning and execution. While the other members of the crew managed to evade arrest for a while, Speedy's cooperation with the police expedited the investigation. As a result, Notarbartolo was tracked down in Italy, arrested and extradited to Belgium, where he faced trial. In the end, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison for his role in the heist. Despite the meticulous planning that had allowed them to bypass cutting-edge security measures, the crew's downfall came because of Speedy's emotional collapse and his willingness to give up his partners to authorities. Although Notarbartolo was convicted, much of the stolen loot was never recovered. During the trial, he maintained that he was the only one involved in the robbery and denied any connection with the other members of the gang, despite the clear evidence linking him to them. His version of events has always been controversial. and many have questioned the truthfulness of his statements, given the level of organization and coordination required for such a large-scale heist. The heist left a lasting mark on security practices in the diamond industry. Despite its flaws, it is still considered a near-perfect crime due to the sheer ingenuity and precision of the operation. Leonardo Notarbartolo, the mastermind behind the famous Antwerp Diamond Heist, lives today in a quieter, more subdued setting than the spotlight of his criminal past. After serving 6 years in a Belgian prison, he was released in March 2009 for good behavior. Only a few months after serving 6 years for the 2003 Antwerp Diamond Center heist, Notarbartolo was caught by police during a routine road check. In his car, they discovered 1 kilogram and 15 grams of diamonds hidden in sealed envelopes between the back seats. He was then rearrested and faced additional legal troubles for possession of stolen goods. He was sentenced again, but he served a relatively short period before being released. He was eventually released in 2017. Since then, Notarbartolo has lived in Chiavaro, a small town near Turin, Italy, with his family. Despite the shadow of his criminal history, he has managed to rebuild his life, living relatively low-key and staying out of the public eye. Although Notarbartolo has distanced himself from his past, he has remained connected to the world of jewelry. His experience as a jeweler before the heist, undoubtedly, informed his role in the planning and execution of the robbery. And in recent years, he has continued to work in the industry. Notarbartolo has also participated in the production of the series Everybody Loves Diamonds, which dramatizes the Antwerp heist, giving him some level of public visibility again. As he mentioned, he is currently seeking a sponsor to produce T-shirts featuring his face along with the bold statement, "I am the thief of Antwerp," printed underneath. He prefers his crime is called theft and not robbery, as in his opinion the latter involves something else, and he has never hurt a fly. He could be one of the wealthiest men in Piedmont at least. In theory, he divided up a loot of around 200 million euros, but in practice the diamonds from the heist have never been recovered. Notarbartolo has said that he no longer knows where the loot went, signaling a complete severance from the riches he once stole. Despite his involvement in one of the most famous heists in history, he now leads a much quieter life, reflecting on his past from the safety of his family home in northern Italy. Though the heist itself was a triumph of skill and coordination, the legal aftermath proved to be equally decisive. As the authorities closed in, each member of the crew faced the consequences of their choices, and the courtroom became the stage for their downfall. The monster was arrested alongside other members of the crew. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison for his part in the operation. Despite the fact that the heist was meticulously planned, the team's involvement was eventually uncovered, and law enforcement quickly closed in on the suspects. His conviction was a direct result of the overwhelming evidence linking him to the crime. After serving his sentence, it is unclear what happened to the monster as he largely faded from the public eye. Unlike some other members, his personal life and whereabouts post-prison remain relatively unknown. The crew's role in the heist was a well-documented part of criminal history, but much of the members' post-heist lives remain shrouded in mystery. The genius was arrested along with the rest of the gang. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison for his part in the crime. During the trial, the court emphasized the role of the genius in enabling the team to bypass sophisticated security features that made the Diamond Center one of the most secure places in the world. His sentence reflected the severity of his actions. After serving his time, details about his life post-prison have remained scarce, with little public information available about his whereabouts or any further criminal activities he might have been involved in. Due to the critical role of the Chiavaro in facilitating the entry into the Diamond Center's vault, he was sentenced to a prison term for his involvement in the crime. While his exact sentence has not been as widely publicized as some of the other gang members, it is known that he faced significant legal consequences for his actions, which were central to the success of the operation. Following his arrest and subsequent sentencing, the Chiavaro served time in prison, though details about his release or his life afterward remain sparse. As with many of the other members of the crew after serving his sentence, the Chiavaro disappeared from the public spotlight, with no significant follow-up on his activities post-prison. His story, like those of many of his accomplices, is marked by the audacity and precision of the heist itself, but little is known about the lives they led after their time behind bars. Like the other members of the heist team, Speedy was arrested after the police connected the discarded evidence to the group. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison for his role in the robbery. His sentence was similar to that of several other members of the crew, who also faced legal consequences for their part in what was dubbed one of the most daring heists in history. Tavano served his full sentence but, like others, was released after completing his time behind bars. After his release, there was little information available about Speedy's life post-prison. He, like many of the other gang members, faded from the public eye, with little to no information about his whereabouts or activities after serving his sentence. Each member of the crew faced the weight of their choices, spending years behind bars as they paid the price for their momentary triumph. The heist had been an extraordinary feat of criminal ingenuity, but the aftermath served as a reminder that no crime, no matter how well executed, goes unpunished forever. The ultimate downfall of the crew came not from a grand mistake, but from the smallest of oversights. A piece of discarded evidence, a careless misstep, or even a seemingly insignificant detail that no one anticipated. It was this tiny flaw, this overlooked element, that unraveled the entire operation and led to their capture. Their downfall serves as a stark reminder that in the world of high-stakes crime, even the smallest detail can destroy everything, no matter how carefully planned the heist may seem.